Hey everyone, it's Kathy Alessandra, the Yes I Can coach, and I am back with another episode of Yes I Can Living. You know, I love having different kinds of guests and different kinds of businesses, and the person that we have today is somebody that I absolutely adore, and her cookies have saved me more than once as I've sent them to family and friends, and but they are oh so scrumptious and oh so dangerous. Anyway, today we have Sue Leedom from Mollie B Cookies, and she started her business in 2010. In fact, I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about all of that. But her website, molliebcookies.com, she's got all kinds of flavors. She has expanded. She's, especially during pandemic, been looking at all the new things that she can bring in and how can she serve her customers. But she's got a story and about why she started her business and where it all really came from, right? Like, who's Mollie? So anyway, Sue, now I'm going to be confused. Sue, welcome to the show. I'm super excited to have you here today.
Thank you, Kathy. I am so honored to be here, and everyone calls me Mollie. It's definitely a compliment. So I just answer to whatever.
Right. Mollie, Sue,
whatever.
Mollie Sue, yeah.
Mollie Sue. So I started this business in 2010, as you mentioned, and I was in the corporate world for 30 years and really dreaded every minute of it. I was a legal secretary, and I was really good at it. I mean, so I guess you have transferable skills when you become an entrepreneur because you need some admin, if you will. And, you know, I was basically working for security and a paycheck. And, but there was just always this piece missing. And when I would lose a job, which was rare, or if I quit, there was this little voice that said, "Get out now." But I was too fearful. I had to pay my water bill, you know, it's that kind of thing. And so in 2001, I had ovarian cancer and didn't work for 10 years. And so, you know, when you dodge the bullet, you know, you kind of say to yourself, well, what do you want to, if not now, then when? When are you going to, you know, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I mean, I went through so many reinventions of what I wanted to do. I mean, I became a facialist. That didn't, you know, I was an esthetician. That didn't work. All the while baking and cooking gourmet meals and just loving being in the kitchen. So after 10 years, my husband said, "Would you just finally make the cookie already? Just do it." So I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And so I, you know, had trouble thinking of a name, but, you know, when I grew up, I would bake with my grandmother, and my grandmother's one of 5 sisters, and they would all get together for something called Coffee and we lived in a small town, and they kind of like, you know, traveled like ants. They were always together. They're ants, pardon the pun. And so the and was something that one of the sisters whipped up, one of their specialties, always homemade, and they would get together and they would talk and reminisce, really be in the moment, be present with each other, and solve the world's problems. And so I thought, you know what? I think that there's a need for this today because we're so involved with our social media and things going on in the world and things like that, that we never really take the pause and connect. Yeah. So my mission has evolved, and really, yes, the cookies are amazing. I have to say so, or I wouldn't send them out the door. But they're the vehicle really for people to slow down and connect. And it really does sort of this magical thing where people start talking about their childhood and they had this cookie in their childhood. So that's kind of where I started.
I love it. I love it. And like the recipes and that they've come from handed down from the families, the generations, and I think you've put a spin on some new ones too, right?
I put my spin on it. I mean, my brownie recipe has pretty much stayed the same. That was my Aunt Syl's recipe, and she lived to 103. So God knows why. I don't know that I would want to live that long. There's not enough plastic surgery on the planet to live to 103. But, you know, and of course today she'd go, "You're doing it wrong." But that's, I'm doing her version of it, whatever. So, yeah, I love it. I mean, but it's taken me years to develop these recipes. I mean, my brown butter chocolate chip took me 5 years because I was always tweaking it. And if it's not excellent, it's not going out because my grandmother would shoot me. So basically, yes, they're based on it. But if there's something new that I can add to it that enhances it, I'll do it.
Right, right. Well, and I think you stepped into, you know, keeping up with what was going on at the times too. I remember there being a gluten-free and a vegan cookie as well. So you're definitely trying to serve the market, even, you know, especially here in California, all of us who are
The land of
have
seeds
those
and nuts.
dietary needs.
Land of seeds and nuts.
Right, right, exactly. That's us. That's us. Us Californians, born and raised. I'm not talking anything I'm not myself. So let me ask you this. What has been your biggest challenge over the years of running Molly Bees, and how did you overcome it?
I think my biggest challenge is having never run a business before, realizing that you're always in flux, that you're always course correcting, and that there are problems every day. And so for me, I'm a perfectionist. And what that does, it really is to my detriment because sometimes I will stall things rather than just taking the risk and letting it go, knowing I can course correct, you know, and giving myself some grace.
Right,
I
right,
think that's been my challenge.
right, right. Yeah, I mean it's true. We all face those challenges, and giving ourselves the grace when things come up can be a tough one for all of us,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. For sure.
What about, you know, there's other companies out there. I mean, and I know where my loyalty lies. What makes Molly Bees unique and different?
I think what makes me unique and different is that many things. I am not done with you once the order is placed and has gone out. I
Mhm.
want to know how you are, what you like, you know, what your family likes. Did you enjoy? Did you have any issues? Um, I think I really care. I mean, I have lost sleep over certain things, and you know, I mean, after 10 years, I don't lose as much sleep, but and also I include a personalized note with the customer's message
Yep.
in the gift. And so very specific about my branding, my packaging, um, and it has to convey my feelings and the message that I want people to feel when they receive a box.
Right. And I think they do. I know the people I've sent them to, you know, and feel that, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
mentioned before the idea that people, you know, the cookies that comes up, and I think we've had this conversation before too, where I've said, you know, I remember when my grandma used to come visit, and she would
Yeah.
always bring her tins of cookies. You know, you were always looking forward to grandma. What cookies would she have baked? You know, and so it just brings a bit of that nostalgia and that bit of your past and family, and I'm sure everybody has some sort of story. Most people would have some sort of story like that. Yeah.
Well, when I get that message, like from you and from other people, there's such a satisfaction for me because I kind of just say to myself, yes, I'm 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 doing what I need to be doing, or it's very validating because that's what I want.
Right. Right. So let's talk about, you know, we've been in an interesting time here in the world, and the last, you know, 8, 9 months or whatever with COVID and quarantine and how things are doing. And we talk a lot about the, you know, the pandemic pivot. And so I'm curious to know, you know, talk to us a little bit about what you saw, you know, as you went into this. Did you have fears that came up, and then how you decided to pivot? What kinds of things you did?
I had a lot of fear surrounding it, as I'm sure you know we all have in various reasons. People had lost their business, and you know my heart goes out to restaurants and just it's heartbreaking. You know, I remember driving down the street and seeing you know people closed, and I'm like, oh God. I think for me, I was blessed in the fact that um, my particular product brings comfort, and I think people were really you know looking to Molly Bees for comfort, and that's what I provided, so I made that part of my message.
Ah, there you go. There's a key piece.
Yeah, because it's you know look, I mean I won't say I'm overweight, I'm just going to say I'm fluffy, but you know during this time there's been such a grieving process and a reevaluation, and you know there are not enough carbohydrates on the planet during this time. I mean, it's not the time to go on a deprivation diet, if you will. So I guess the good thing about Mollie B's is that you don't have to eat a ton in order to be satisfied. And that was my grandmother's wish. So people are working from home, and I also individually wrap each of my cookies. So it's a blessing. I mean, I kind of just did that before COVID for various reasons, because for many logical reasons. And people have commented that that's a good thing. And we all need a pick me up. So I've just kind of been focusing on what is the pain point, because it's work to go out of the house now. It's work.
Yeah.
And there should be no work in having a treat.
Yes, this is true. This is true. And to be able to send that, that comfort or that love or that hug that we can't give at the moment to our, family and friends, it's a, right? It's a great way to do that. I love that. So, talking about, struggling and COVID and everything. So what, on the days when you do find yourself, struggling or having a moment, or as we ride that roller coaster, right? Where do you turn for motivation?
I go to my bed.
Thank you for your honesty.
I'm like, okay, not happening today, and tomorrow's not looking much better. I think a lot of self-talk, sometimes some quotes that I find inspirational, and having the responsibility, I think, to provide for my customers what I want to provide, then I have to go outside myself. Does that make sense?
It does. So in other words, I mean, you're really serving a purpose for your customers. And so rather than getting pulled into your own internal thoughts, it gives you comfort, I imagine, to know that you're helping us give comfort.
It gives me a lot of comfort, and it gets me out of my head and keeps me from dwelling on the negatives that are going on right now.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I just, we have a podcast that came out a week or so ago that Dr. Menajay Bodera and Turner, and she's a psychologist, and we talked a lot about this whole getting stuck, with so, if you haven't heard that episode yet, I would definitely.
I'm looking forward to listening to
circle back and for all of us, right? It was a great.
I'm going to binge listen.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. So let's talk a little bit more about business in general, because you do have a successful business. And so, for listeners, who are trying to figure out what that one marketing idea would be or what they should do next, what would be, one tip that you would have for them, maybe in the marketing realm?
I would say, I don't know if this is the correct answer, but this is what comes up for me. Make sure that whatever platform you show up, where you show up, that you are authentically yourself. Don't try to be like someone else, like another cookie business or another coaching business. You have to do what speaks to you, because that's how you're going to get your innate isn't the right word, but get your true message across. Mm-hmm. And, I've taken classes with you too, Kathy, and workshops and everything. And, you don't have to do all the platforms, but do what speaks to you so that you can speak to your customer.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be all, but the quality of content, the quality of what you give, making sure that you're of service to someone. It's not all about me. It's what can I do for you?
Right. Yeah, you're great with that in your newsletters and your social media. You're very authentic about that. And your personality, for those of you who have not met Sue personally one-on-one, you need to subscribe to her email newsletter, because first of all, they are sassy and smart-assy and absolutely hilarious. And then she gives you information about what's coming up and new. She's got a whole bunch of new products. We'll talk about that in a second that she's launching. But it's authentically you, that, because if I talk to you or meet you on the street, it's going to be exactly who I'm hearing, in your newsletter, in your tone.
Thank you. And I think being willing, this is really the important thing for me too, is that sometimes when I do my Facebook Lives, I don't have makeup on or, flour on my face. It's because I want to be relatable. I don't want to be picture perfect, because it puts pressure on people. Mm-hmm. The world really isn't like that.
Right.
And I want you to feel like you can relate to me, not, think that I'm this thing, because that's not who I am.
Right. I love that.
As we know.
Yeah. So tell me about, I know that you've added some new products even during the pandemic, you know, did some research, did some testing and all that. So what, you know, why were you looking to add new products and things? And then tell us about a little bit about what they are.
Well, I'm super excited. And I think, as I said, I like to perfect things as I go. And I wanted to make sure that the original offerings were well received, well tested, well loved before I add on something else, because it takes a lot of time to add on a new product, a lot of time, a lot of finances, a lot of thinking, strategizing, testing. And I thought, you know, okay, so these things have been tried and true, and I kind of didn't want to hear, well, what else you got? You know, what's new? What's this? So I'm not a trendy gal. But I did my own version of whatever the trends were. You know, I don't like things that are overdone, over sweet, over anything. I mean, for me, it has to be balanced. So I feel that whatever we have added, it's all really balanced and based on what people, like the phone calls I get and things like that, and also what's in the industry.
Okay. I love it. What are the couple of the new ones that you've
So
seen some pictures? Oh my goodness.
I have two stuffed cookies named after my son and daughter-in-law. So I have the stuffed Katie girl, which is a snickerdoodle that has a 1 ounce gooey chocolate obsession inside. And the stuffed Benny, which is a chocolate obsession cookie with a peanut butter cookie inside. That's kind of like the chocolate peanut butter candy.
Oh my God. That one I've had. That was, oh my goodness. That was to die. I'm a peanut butter cup kind of person, you know.
Well, you are my buttercup, so that's and then we have a oatmeal pecan chocolate chip with a praline pecan on top.
Yeah, that I can't wait to try.
So you just, you know, you probably want to eat around it so you get the pecan last. And last but not least, so exciting, we have a line of mini cookies and of the versions of the flavors. And the shortbread is to die for. They're so cute, you want to pinch them. I mean, they're like so adorable. So they're great. They're great little mini. So I'm super excited. But again, the marketing, I got to market them.
Right. Well, everybody can, you know, listening can hop on over to the site, molliebcookies.com, and check out pictures of the cookies and order there, and all the different flavors and the different options and all of that, you know, are there and available. So let me just ask you a couple other questions here. So, you know, if there was, you know, as you've gone through your business, you're 10 years in now, right? You said 20.
Right.
You know, what do you wish, you know, what is your current self would tell your younger self? What do you wish you knew when you started your business that you know now, but would have been helpful when you first started?
Persevere.
Oh, yeah.
It's not, you know, people say, oh, I'm an overnight success. And I say it's taken me 10 years to be an overnight success.
Right.
Because it's really not funny. I mean, it's no such thing. You can't do things overnight. And I think for me, what drove me was the passion. I love to learn. I love to troubleshoot and figure out why something didn't work. So I'm not sure if I answered your question, did I?
No, you did. You did. I mean, perseverance, because I think people give up. You know, there's that saying, you know, 3 feet before gold, or, you know, whatever that is. And you don't keep pushing because you get tired and you think it's just not going to happen. It's not going to be there. And that requires perseverance. Business, being an entrepreneur requires a whole heck of a lot of perseverance, right? Because it's not going to happen overnight.
Well, and if any of us look back when we start a venture, let's say it's not a business, let's say it's planning things, there's going to be problems that come up, right?
Right.
But anything worth having is, I mean, part of the joy is the hard work that's in it. I mean, I remember going to bed bone tired when I first started because I was doing everything. I mean, bone tired. But I remember putting my head on the pillow and saying, God, job well done today, Sue.
I love that.
Self-satisfaction.
Pat yourself, right? Exactly. Give yourself that credit. Let me, you know, we talk about not being an overnight success, but let me ask you one last question. What is your definition of success? What defines success for you?
Knowing that I am providing something unique and valuable to my customers, knowing that it brings them joy, when maybe they're not feeling joy, or that they're trusting me to bring joy to the people that they care about. And that my product is consistent, and that I hold myself to a very high standard.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And your product resonates with that. I mean, it's like I said, if y'all could taste one of the cookies through the microphone or the video, or, I should have ordered some so they were here as I'm recording the video piece too, but I digress. So I know after all this talk about delicious, yummy, decadent cookies, everybody's going to want to know where do they go to connect with you? So please share.
All right, thank you. On Instagram, I'm Mollie B Cookies. It's Mollie. People want to spell it with a Y, but it's Mollie, B as in boy, cookies.com. And same as my website, molliebcookies.com. Or you can just pick up the phone and call me, which I love. I'm all about the phone call.
Yeah.
I'm an old-fashioned gal.
That's a forgotten art, but you're absolutely right. Picking up the phone. And
you don't even have to buy anything. Just ask a question.
There you go. I mean, and whether it's cookies or whatever, it's you gotta do the work, and you've got, whether it's ordering for family or friends or even corporate gifting, right? You've got corporate gifting too. So with the holidays coming up, people, you got to reach out. She can handle your needs, your orders with all different kinds of options. So I really encourage you to reach out to Sue. Let me finish with my final question that I ask everybody on the show. What makes you a yes, I can woman?
Because no, I can't is not an option.
I love that. No.
How about yes, I did?
Yeah. Yes. Right. Yeah. No is not in my, is no longer in my, yeah. Well, I can't is not in my dictionary. No is in it. I use no a lot. It's the I can't. It's the, right? I mean, totally the I can't.
Exactly.
It's just take off that apostrophe T. Take it off, girlfriend. Take it off. All right, Sue, this has been a blast. Thank you so much for your time today and for being on the show. I really appreciate it. For everybody who is listening or watching, I sincerely encourage you to go check it out. I have sent cookies to my family members, to my children, to friends, and the cookies are absolutely fabulous. And the customer service that goes along with that with Sue is superb. So she's the one to call. She's the one to call. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another episode of Yes, I Can Living. Until then, I hope you live your yes and have a great day. Thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye.